that no one comes in fresh, It's just because it's just overwork. And I feel that was one of the key things I found when I first moved here.
What's up? You're listening to Randomly Relatable SG,
where we talk about random things you relate to.
Before we move there, I just want to know, like, when you came to Singapore, did you do all the touristy stuff? You went to Lau Pasar, you went to the Maxwell food court, eat ais kacang,
You went to see the Malayan.
you eat the chicken rice. Oh, wow.
Lau Pasar is right opposite Artemis. I still never gone.
What?
I know.
Have you tried hawker food?
Yeah, I love chicken rice.
I just asking, bro. Just ask.
I fucking love chicken rice, but the calories, you don't understand. Okay, Asian genes is magical because you all stay so thin. If I eat chicken rice, this is what happens. And I love it, and I really love it. And I got to the point I was having chicken rice like 3 times a week, and then my boss was like, you do know the calories in that, right? And then I Googled it, and
There's a lot.
Yeah,
There's
it's
a
a
lot
lot.
of calories in the Hainanese chicken rice.
it's like
the rice.
600 cal.
Yeah, 'cause of the rice, yeah.
I didn't know
And the
that.
oil is oil. Because the chicken rice itself is oily.
So fucking good though. And I'll try it with white rice. I'm like, but then it's just steamed chicken and white rice. That ain't the same, is it?
Yeah, it's
Why
not,
would
it's
I do that? So I when I moved here, I did do Gardens by the Bay. So I had seen that. I Googled that and I was like, I definitely want to do Gardens by the Bay and the light show. And I was desperate to go to Sentosa and go to the beach. But that was it. I was mainly just beachy and odd touristy things.
Okay.
I mean, later we can talk about the different cultures.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you want
Right now we want to go into the expat package that a lot of Singaporeans and I think personally ourselves, we have this stereotype that, if you work in Singapore, as an expat, you get your free
You
house,
live
you
like
get
a
car, you get special allowances here and there,
Yeah.
But
maybe before we go into the stereotypes, maybe you can share with her how did we get the idea without giving such specific.
okay, so like my dad was studying, working in Doha and for Al Jazeera, and then when he moved there, he got everything settled. I think like his house, his car, special allowances. When he comes back to Singapore to visit, his flights are paid as well.
Yeah.
So like I was having that understanding that all expats live like this. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, I want to be an expat. That's the dream.
Fucking
when our uncles, like we had a family member working overseas also, always fly business free. Always fly business.
Business class
And
is always
like,
minimum.
It's not the lousy
Budget ticket,
it's not like
budget
Scoot
flights.
business. No, it's not Scoot business. It's like SIA business. It's like Qatar business.
Yeah.
Proper stuff.
Emirates, Qatar.
Especially in Singapore, because like we like our foreign talent,
We
Like,
appreciate
we
that.
put emphasis on them. So I would expect Singapore to give you all that.
Yeah, so like free house, free car, free
Bills
on top,
are paid for.
Bills are
Bills are paid for.
No, the only thing I
Education sponsored.
got was
water bottle.
oh my God. It was a welcome flag. No, I got a 1 month salary reimbursement forward to help me pay for the flights.
But that's not even free. That's a pay first.
Yeah, they didn't. That was it. It was like, we'll help you out. We'll give you X amount to pay for your flights. That was it. And then just sort of left me to my own devices. They said, if you desperately need help with accommodation, we can suggest some places.
Suggest some places.
Yeah,
Google can do that for me. You know what I mean?
This like package thing. No. And I've been here 5 years now, guys. I've never had this. I paid for my rent. I had to find somewhere that I could afford within the budget. I had to, and I still had like debt at the time in the UK as well. So every month I was paying off like debts and living here. And the living standards here's cost is so high. Like when I realized my rent, I was a little shoebox place and it was 2,000 Sing a month. And I was like, oh my God, I'm going to be starving.
Isn't London more expensive in terms of real estate?
It is, I think, but for me, I moved to London just once. My place is outside of London, so it's lots cheaper, right? That's why you have to commute in. But I still think Singapore's more expensive than London. Genuinely, I think, day-to-day living.
The size and shit like that. Yeah, okay.
But no help. I had no help. The only thing I'd say I had was medical insurance, which I thought was like a big deal.
And that's like a standard.
normal,
right?
that's
Yeah,
how
no,
it
to me, I was like, oh my gosh.
I'm on internship and I have medical insurance.
That was it. That's all I had. And then like a 13th month pay.
And it's
brought forward.
pretty normal as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sure, right. Is this yours?
Yeah.
Hello. Why you put your money in a jar under the pillow?
Then where am I supposed to keep my money?
Hold on. This is not the wisest thing to do. If you're putting your money in the jar under the pillow, like Shuran, there is a better way.
Have you heard of Fire with Him and how he can guide you to invest?
What is FIRE with him, you may ask? FIRE stands for Financial Independence Retire Early.
And who is Im? He is the man to go to if you want to start investing but do not know where, how, or what to do. Are you ready to grow your wealth?
Invest 60 minutes to make your next 60 months better with Imran Sinwan. Click the link in the description below to find out more. Now, back to the video.
How was the office culture like? Because you did work in the UK for a bit and then you came to Singapore. Is there a huge difference in the working culture?
Hey, yeah. Like, go home.
That's what I get a lot. Like we are workaholics in a way.
Ah, yeah.
But like I don't have anything to compare to. This is what I know.
Yeah.
This is what I
Yeah,
know. But
trust
when-
me, it's not.
It's not normal.
I'd say normal stiff because obviously, especially say London as an example. Of course, there's people working late hours all the time, but
Yeah.
you know, we don't have this idea of you can't go until your boss goes. We don't have that. You know, in London, you work 9 till 5, 5 p.m. on the dot, you're out.
And if you have work to do, like something like a
Guess
deadline.
what? It waits for the next day. And Fridays, you clock off early and you go to the pub.
Yeah.
Wow.
The thing is, any workload you have, any deadline, there will always be more deadlines, right?
Yes.
And then this is what I found as well. However much I spanked my ass working all the fucking hours God sends, it was always something else to do.
Yeah.
You know? So what was the point? In the end, it was like, okay, if I go home, I remember Valentine's Day, I was in the office at 9:15 at night. I'd got there at 8:30 in the morning and it was just back-to-back work. Like there was no relentless, there's no break. And I was like, what the fuck am I doing here? You know? It was like, yeah, the working culture is severe, but that's a general, everyone knows that, right?
Yeah.
Singapore's working
It's an-
environment.
Yeah, it's a
not
norm
healthy.
at this point though.
It was,
Like-
it's quite bad lah, to be honest.
No, but it's like stuck in my head that it's okay to be on standby 24/7.
Oh
at this
my
point.
You know, sia.
No, I'm honest. That's how I feel.
The WhatsApp chats as well. What's that
It's
about?
constant.
I was like, what the fuck is my boss WhatsApping me at 9 o'clock? Don't even want to hear from my boyfriend at this time. Go away. And then I started getting like the anxiety fear when his name would pop up on my phone. I'd be like,
Yeah.
don't touch it. You know, like it was just, why are you like, WhatsApp? No, email. This is how it's done in London.
Yeah.
It was you email anything work related. You don't WhatsApp. There's no WhatsApp group. Do you know how many fucking WhatsApp groups I'm into? Work. And then that's the problem as well is when you get blue ticked, they know you fucking read it. So that's why you feel you're on standby all the time.
Yeah, because like you have to reply.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, and then I remember like one day I went in, he called us both into a room, the associate editors, and my manager was like, no one replied to me last night. And he WhatsApped like 9:30 at night. Fucking yeah, I'm asleep. I'm exhausted. You know, that was like worth telling us off about. You weren't on standby. You weren't at my beck and call.
Yeah.
But it's like, yeah, I didn't exercise for the first 2 years I moved here. I was so exhausted. Yeah. And I used to be a big netball player in the UK. Like I always played
It's
netball.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ask me what netball team I support. Then I'll answer.
What netball team you support?
England. But yeah, I just had no time to exercise and I'd sleep every Saturday till like 2 p.m. because I just was like almost making up for the week before.
Yeah.
And then because you slept half the weekend, then you're like, it's Sunday night and you're like, fuck, I got to go work tomorrow and do it all over again.
Yeah, that's exactly how we
it's
feel
not
every
how it
day
is, no.
of our lives.
Newsflash, not okay. And your mental health suffers.
Have you told your boss this? Or like any of your bosses this?
Well, my new one's a godsend, but the one at you you die trying.
It's different for local companies. It's quite difficult because my current boss, right? Like she's from Australia. When I wanted to have a meeting with her on Friday, because we end work at 3, is a company thing. And when I wanted to have a meeting with her,
you end work on Fridays at 3.
yeah. So
But never reply us, fucker.
every week, yeah.
Step like
That's
busy like
amazing.
Yeah,
never reply us.
they recently
never
just
reply
applied it.
message.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
So we end work at 3, but like I delayed a presentation. So I only presented to her at 7. She was angry at me.
7 p.m.
7 p.m.
Fuck.
Because like it was a while. I was new into the company.
Yeah.
So it took me a while to do the presentation. She was angry at me. She was saying that we could have just left this to Monday because Friday is a taboo, is a no, don't do it.
Yeah.
And like it's a different culture. If my boss was Singaporean, she would say, okay, can 7 p.m.
10 o'clock is okay.
10
lah.
p.m. is fine.
Yeah,
You can
no.
present to me at 10 p.m.
I remember the guy would do Google Analytic reports every night at midnight. Every night at midnight to recount the last day's activities, all the stories
Yeah.
did. And I was like, a few months in, I was like, there's got to be a better fucking way. I said, surely this is not you telling me you do a full working day, you go home, you eat dinner, you hang around a bit, you wait till midnight strikes for the new day to do Google reporting. What? I had to really fight tooth and nail, and I managed to change the system. And the responses were, it's always been that way.
Yeah.
But there's no one thought to say,
No, because my dad also he's hired this girl to do his admin work, right? So like I was telling him like what's your favorite thing about her? So he was telling me like, she works around the clock. Like if on Saturday I text her something to do, she'll do it. So I'm like, Daddy, that's normal. Then he's like, that's normal. Then like if you don't do that, you're fired.
no, it's not. It's definitely not normal where
It's
I
not
come
supposed to be normal.
No, and it's just not conclusive to a healthy working environment.
Work-life balance.
Everyone's fucking stressed. Everyone's tired. Everyone's miserable and irritable, and there's such a low energy. That no one comes in fresh.
Yeah.
It's just because it's just overwork, and I feel that was one of the key things I found when I first moved here and went to the office. Was a huge different culture blow.
Yeah. So why are you still working in Singapore?
Yeah. Leave, Nick. In my defense, I did resign from this job twice, and the first time I resigned, they promoted me. Yeah, that old chestnut. And I was like, I'm leaving. Okay, I got some time.
Okay.
But then
The second time?
the second time I did actually manage to leave. And I left with no job to go to. I was so miserable. As I'm resigning today, I had 3 months' notice to work.
Yeah.
And then I was like, I was getting ready to move back to London.
Oh.
Yeah, I was like, I'm done. I'm just done. Because I was so miserable. I was like tiny, like half the human I am now. I was absolutely tiny, super stressed. And I was like, however much perks this role gives me is not worth the negative detriment I was having. And I was prepared to leave Singapore. And then luckily, a PR girlfriend who I'd met through the job was like, have you tried PR? Have you tried being other side of the media industry?
You're making me feel like I'm missing out on life staying in Singapore.
No, that's not. To sum up, Nixalina of Sex and Singapore says leave. No, it's just. I think the difference is as well is, of course, the job I had. Like you don't become a dep ed of an online magazine without the kind of appropriate working hours that goes with it, right? So the job I have now, I'm a marketing director for 2 restaurants, is so different, so completely different. It's run by Australian and American, so both my bosses are expats, and it's just a completely different working ethos that we have, I guess.
That's what Shirem always says also.
It's different. If your director or your direct supervisor is not a local, work style is very different. Very different. I love it so much. Yeah.
Just want to ask you as a
Go on.
like our audience like youth going into the working world and stuff like that. So like for yourself, you actually worked overseas because you were from London, then now you were in Singapore. Then what's some of your thoughts of as Singaporeans wanting to go overseas, or like just people in general wanting to work overseas? What's some of the things they should actually look out for?
I actually did a podcast episode on this myself, but then COVID hit and I was like, can't really release that one.
Yeah.
This is what I learned moving to another country and everyone's in lockdown. I think I would encourage anyone to do it purely because it changes you. It makes you grow up. Do your own laundry. Cook your own food. Usually now get help, it's fine. You just change. Like, I have never been so appreciative of different cultures as in when I moved here. And I think it's probably very special to Singapore because it is so diverse, right? So you get everything, which I love. But you just change. You just change yourself as a person, and you almost become way more friendlier because you have to be, especially if you move on your own, right?
That's true.
I would struggle if it was a country that didn't speak
English.
Yeah, that's probably where more of these expat communities come from, right?
Yes.
You're in
get that,
Vietnam,
yeah.
no one speaks English, but you want to talk to someone.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Then
Yeah.
I would definitely, if everyone spoke language I couldn't understand, I would definitely be like, oh my God, anyone speak English, please,
Yeah.
you know?
Ah,
Wonder there was such a big gap.
yeah,
It's got to be the language. I can't do languages. So if I moved to Italy, I probably wouldn't last. So definitely I
But
would.
Italians are very nice.
Yeah, hot as well.
Yeah.
A very sexy language. So I think that's a big deal. Maybe find a country, but if anyone's even considering it, just do it. This is my thought process. Worst case scenario, I go to Singapore, I hate it, I find out Cambodia is not in Africa as well, shock, and then I go back. Like, what's the, okay, I spent 3 months somewhere, what's the big deal? What's the worst fucking case scenario? Still,
You still learn something at the end of the day, right?
yeah. And I was like, okay, if I hate the job, it would just be like a 3-month thing where I go and,
internship.
and I go and get a beach and pool. This was, can you see where my trail of thought was?
Yeah.
Beach, pool. Nothing else mattered.
How do you get over that initial fear of like leaving your own country, like your comfort zone?
I don't know, because I'm just not very fearful as a person.
Okay.
Like, I would like more fear, like I should have more social boundaries because the stuff I talk about, I'd like, just give me more. I'd never had the fear. Like I said, worst case. I think if you're financially stable and you're like, if I go there and I hate it and I have back-to-back panic attacks, then leave what? You're not stuck,